Welcome to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie, and I want to thank you so much for being with me here today, for joining me on this journey. So let's dive in. Picture this. You finally get a chance to lay down, close your eyes after what's been a really long day. You try and breathe to rest. You want calm, but instead, your brain serves you a highlight reel of unread emails, forgotten tasks, and that message your really annoying coworker sent you at 8:47 p.m. that you still haven't answered. You're not in danger, but your mind is acting like you are. I mean, think about it. Have you ever tried to relax only to feel work crawling into all of your thoughts? When was the last time you were fully present in your own life outside of work? Think about that one. You're not alone. According to recent research, nearly 3 in 4 US employees, that's roughly about 72%, experience moderate to high levels of stress and burnout. Gen Z is now the most burnt out generation at 74%, followed by millennials at 66%. I mean, work related stress in the US is at a 7-year high. And yet, we keep on pushing. Many of us were raised with a blueprint: school, degree, job, partner, house, kids, happiness, right? Now, the world has changed, and that blueprint didn't. Now, for so many of us, work is the center of gravity. Promotions, productivity, performance. Your worth often measured in output. But somewhere along the way, no one stopped to ask, who are you outside of your job? And that's what we're unpacking today. Why your career shouldn't own your identity. Why setting limits, it's not laziness. And how overworking isn't the flex we're told it's meant to be. This episode is about reclaiming something that's always belonged to you: your time, your energy, and your life. I know so many people who wake up, log into their computers, and barely move all day. Meals are quick, breaks are often rare, and yet somehow the work never ends. The more you do, the more gets piled on. Corporate America rewards output, not balance. I mean, I get it. I recently started a new role with a significant salary increase. But with that increase came a lot of constant pings. Hey, did you get this? Or just following up? And part of me just wants to say, yeah, I got it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'll respond when I can. Honestly, I've gotten to the point where I've started saying, I got this and I'll get back to you soon. Thanks for your patience. Because my calm shouldn't depend on how fast I reply to things. Work should move at my pace, not the speed of everyone else's anxiety. Here's a concrete example of something that happened recently. A coworker messaged me all day with questions. I asked the entire day if we could connect to clarify things. And after not getting a response to that message, he reached out at around 5:30 and wanted to hop on a call. I told him, sorry, but I've got a Pilates class I have to get to. Let's touch base tomorrow. And that right there was a simple boundary without any guilt. Once you start setting them, people stop assuming you're always available. And that's exactly the point of all of this. I mean, ask yourself this: if your work messages didn't demand instant responses, how would that change your day? Would it? One day, I was in a meeting with a colleague that I normally admire. He's usually calm, always collected, but that day he was exploding with stress. His dog wandered into the frame and he snapped. I will never forget that. I genuinely felt bad and asked him to take a breather. And I went on to say that I get that work is really important. But I said something to him that I think resonated. And I said, "You're not at an operating table." He completely froze, looked at me, and said, "You're right. I just feel so much pressure coming from leadership." And that's the lesson right there. Most work pressure is self imposed or systemic. My perspective is you only need to respond immediately to someone if that someone who messaged you is someone who can actually fire you. That's how I see it. Otherwise, it can wait. And realizing that most of the pressure we feel is either self imposed or systemic makes you start noticing how much our environment ultimately shapes our work life habits and how different cultures approach work and life totally different. And that can offer a powerful perspective. I mean, let's dive into that. In the US, people ask, "What do you do?" first when they meet you. Our identity wraps itself around our job title. In California or New York, even lunch feels like a checkpoint in a race. Streets are crowded, people are always in a rush, cars honking if you don't move fast enough at the light. I mean, work bleeds into life. Contrast that with some European countries, like Spain. I spent half of the time living there, half the year living there. And people linger over coffee during breaks after work. People take walks, they have a beer, have a glass of wine, and actually decompress. Work is just something they do, not who they are. I mean, imagine waking up to slow mornings, moving at your own pace, choosing how to spend your energy instead of racing through emails before the day even begins. And that's a reality of many Americans. When somebody asks what you do you feel proud or like your work defines your value and who you are? Think about that one. Here's the hard truth: in corporate America, no matter how much you give, you are just a number. I mean, love your job, be loyal, but the system isn't built to love you back. You're replaceable, and that's okay. Ambition is great, but there's a line between giving your best and giving yourself away. Protect it. Recognizing that line between giving your best and giving yourself away is one thing, but actually protecting it takes so much practice. It's something that you have to learn to do over the years. And most recently, in my new role, I've experimented with things that work for me. And I've learned that setting clear boundaries isn't just helpful, it's essential for sanity. focus and actually enjoying life outside of work. Here's how I approach it in real life and how you can too. Number one is set clear work hours to decide exactly when your workday starts and when it ends, and actually stick to it. Treat it like a meeting with yourself. For example, I start my workday at around 7 o'clock and try and shut my laptop off by like 3:30. If somebody messages me after those hours, I usually don't respond until the next day. And honestly, over time, I feel that like people stop expecting instant replies and your work life stops bleeding into your personal life. Number two is I let emails sit because honestly, not everything requires an immediate response. Try letting emails sit for a few hours or overnight. For instance, if a client sends a detailed request at 6 p.m., my response might be, "Got it, I'll review this first thing in the morning." Or I may just not reply. I mean, it really depends on the severity and the urgency. No guilt, no apology, just a boundary. And it sets expectations for myself and for others. Number three is create a daily task list. Date and time blocking instead of reacting to every ping, every message. Create a plan for your day. I mean, you could make a list of 3 to 5 priorities, block time to work on them uninterrupted, and leave smaller tasks for later. I feel like doing this helps me stay really focused and prevents work from taking over my headspace because the times that I have blocked off to work on something is the time I'll work on something. Number four, choose your battles. Boundaries are not about being rigid, they're about prioritizing. If a colleague asks for a late afternoon call, consider whether it's actually something urgent. I once told a coworker that I have a Pilates class. Let's touch base tomorrow because for me, my health comes first. I thought it was simple, effective. I didn't feel guilty, and it actually helped both of us work better. He now understands what my priorities are once I'm off the clock. It's hard. The pressure to excel is real, but most jobs wouldn't blink if you weren't there tomorrow. So why lose sleep or miss your life over that? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to build a life where work serves me, not the other way around. I recently sold a co owned home. I'm saving aggressively and have projects lined up. I'm building towards a life that's going to give me the freedom that I enjoy. I mean, imagine freedom. Imagine waking up slowly, choosing your energy, your time, your life. What would you do today if your work didn't define your life? Think about that one. Would anything change? Would you do some of the things you actually enjoy and are missing out on because you're too tired, too exhausted? I mean, your job matters, it pays the bills, it challenges you, it can even give you purpose. But it is not your life. Your emails, your deadlines, your title, they don't define your value. What defines you is how you show up when the laptop is shut, when your notifications are silenced, when you're living your life on your own terms. Every step you take toward reclaiming your time, toward saying no when it actually matters, toward setting boundaries and protecting your energy, it all leads to a better version of yourself. Progress It doesn't have to be dramatic, it could be small, daily actions. A walk after work, a coffee with a friend, choosing to answer that email tomorrow instead of tonight. Each small step is a victory. This week, I challenge you. Pick one boundary, just one small act to reclaim your time. Step outside, call a friend, cook something. Just be human, dance a little. I genuinely want you to repeat this mantra. This is a tomorrow problem because my life is happening now. Your job, it's important. Of course it is. But it's a tool, not the masterpiece. Your life, that's the masterpiece. And every choice you make, every step you take toward balance is building that life. And remember, you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to start. Every step counts. Every step leads you closer to a better version of yourself. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.